Hello! Oh, that's just too cringe. Right there, everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're here to talk about Man City's Carabao Cup win against Aston Villa. Let's get to it. So this is our 9th return to Wembley since 2018, I believe it is. And to be honest, going into this game, as a fan reaction to this match, I thought we was going to wipe the floor with Aston Villa, considering how good we were in our last fixture, well, in the Premier League against them, where we beat them 6-1. I thought, yeah, done and dusted. We're going to play. I expected us to play our not our strongest side, but like our B team. As I said, wipe the floor with them and just be impressive, turn up and just do bits and give everyone a good game that they paid for, like our FA Cup win against Watford last year. But this one, 2-1 win, I'll take it. It's a win at the end of the day. Another piece of silverware, or either people might probably say the Carabao Cup is not good enough, but as a fan, I'm incredibly happy that we went and won this. Just any silverware really. Even if it's something not as major like the Community Shield, it still is it's just good motivation just for the team and for the fans who will go ahead and watch it. I mean, I didn't actually watch it. I watched the highlights and well, with our B team, of course, we weren't going to be as dominant. There were a few players in there who were a bit like a fish out of water. Well, John Stones, he's a classic example of that. It's weird. I think I mentioned about comparing John Stones to Jordan Pickford, where they are two very similar players in the fact that they're brilliant for England, but for John Stones, for us, he's quite basic. He's basic for us, but he's an absolute brick wall for England. It is a weird one, but at the end of the day, that's just how it goes, I suppose you could say. So we had good build-up play throughout the game, as we always do, as I like to mention about how good, like the quality of just not even, this is our B team. Claudio Bravo, John Stones, Zinchenko, trying to think who else. Phil Foden actually starting, but we still did incredibly well. I felt we put on a good performance. Alright, there was only one goal difference. Talking about the goals, actually, the first one, it was a good corner in, taken in by Gundogan. Rodri getting in. I really do like the look of Rodri now. At first, I thought, I don't really know too much about him. It does seem a bit sort of here and there going into these games, but to seeing the way he turned up and how he performed, especially in this last season, really does show how much he's starting to adapt to English football. Because of course, there's a lot more competition here than there is in the Spanish league. And he put in a good performance, I feel, making good passes. His pass to Phil Foden was just impeccable. Phil Foden's pass that led on to Aguero's goal. That was the first goal. Rodri's was our second goal of the game. Let's just talk about him just for now. Phil Foden. What a class player he is. He is the best thing to come out of Man City. Alright, that's probably an easy thing to say because we're not, unlike our noisy neighbours Man United, we're not particularly known for creating or making good youth players from our system. There's been times where we have had players come through our youth system, such as Jack Rodwell, and he hasn't been the best. I mean, yeah, he is in a very good Premier League team at the moment, Sheffield United, but he really hasn't had a standout career during his playing career. He got relegated with Sunderland, went to Blackburn Rovers, who last won the Premier League back in 1995, and now he's at Sheffield United. Doesn't look like he'll have a look in on the pitch, let's put it that way. Well, Phil Foden, Garcia and Harwood Bellis have all been brilliant, but Phil Foden, just do need to talk about him. He has been impeccable for City. He has been brilliant. The quality, like Guardiola has taken this young lad from Stockport he's my age. He's a couple months younger than me. He was born in May of 2000. I was born in March of 2000. And just to see like how much of a good quality player he is, I did have the worry about who's going to take David Silva's place when he leaves at the end of the season. Phil Foden, he is that quality player that should definitely, in my opinion, take the place of David Silva. He's got the skill. His touch from Zinchenko's pass was just, he should not have made that. No player of like his young status should make a touch the same way Phil Foden did. And even his trophy cabinet that he personally has achieved, Premier League titles, League Cups, FA Cups, stuff like that. He is one trophy behind Steven Gerrard, and he's only 19. He's only 19, And he's probably going to get more and more trophies if he stays at the club for the next 15, 20 years. He could even help us sometime in the very distant future with our track record in the Champions League to one day win the Champions League, captain us even to it maybe one day. Alright, captaincy does seem a bit far off, but I suppose people could say the same about Steven Gerrard when he first turned up on the scene. But still, Phil Foden is just a class player. He is the heir to the throne for David Silva. There's been rumours even. I did notice this on One Football, which I'll leave a link to in the description. Very, very good, reliable football source. I see a lot of YouTubers talk about it, so I thought, okay, I'll give this a go. And it is incredible. You can personalise it to any nation, any league, any team, whatever, and you'll get just every little inkling, every little inch of detail. It's just an incredible app. So like I said, link to it will be down in the description box below. But there has been a rumour that he could get an England call up. Him and what's his name, Calvin Phillips from Leeds United. He deserves an England call up, in my opinion. He's better than Lingard. I rate him higher than Mason Mount. Alright, obviously I'm going to say that. I suppose a few Chelsea fans would say the same about Mason Mount, that they would prefer him over Phil Foden. And with Man United, they'll probably, saying that, I do know a couple of Man United fans who aren't really a big fan of Jesse Lingard. But Phil Foden, for me, he does deserve an England call-up. He does. And it's something I did think about where I did mention here about how he is the heir to David Silva. Guardiola just needs to have more faith in him. I feel as though he needs to give him more game time. It's good to see him get game time in the Champions League. Maybe even give him, have him a look and get him on the starting lineup, or bring him on as a sub for our second leg against Real Madrid. But I think what Guardiola needs more than anything is just a bit of faith. He just needs that little push to think, yeah, I've trained him up. He's brilliant. Even at just 19, he is brilliant, and he's only just going to get more better. Then let's just give him more game time, and maybe even one day build a team around him when he does reach his prime. Because for all we know, he could be as good as Kevin De Bruyne. Alright, probably not as good, but you never know. These things could just pop up out of nowhere and just surprise all of us. I really hope it does. I really hope that he just, throughout the years, he does show his true colours, his true blue colours of just how much of an impressive player he can be. Aston Villa's goal, I must be honest, it was a well-worked goal. It was a very good, strong header. I can't quite remember who it was that scored, but like I said, good, strong header in the back of the net. I was like Guardiola then. Bravo, he could not really do too much about it. I'd say that the goal that Aston Villa scored, only the best keepers in the world could save that, like David De Gea. Alright, De Gea, he, if you watch the Everton match, didn't really show that he is the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment. Who is, to be honest, I don't really know. I wouldn't really put Edison as the best goalkeeper. Definitely top 5, but not like have the title of the best. I wouldn't really quite put him at that. I must be honest. There's times where I can be biased, but there's times I need to be real. Yeah, like I said, this match, it was just an incredible performance. We really did turn up. I really wish I could have gone to it. But yeah, I was just really happy with it. Could not really ask for more. Got another win. Another piece of silverware. That's the third time in a row that we've won the League Cup. I was about to say Carabao Cup, but it hasn't always been called Carabao Cup. It's been called Carling and the Capital One Cup. Might as well rename it and call it the Citizens Cup. How about that? How about that for an idea, the Citizens Cup? We've just been winning it constantly since 2014. We've been so consistent with it. So let's just do a run through the players who have won it. So I think it's De Bruyne and Sterling have won it 3 times. Aguero, David Silva and Fernandinho have won it 5 times. And in our history, we've won it 7 times. Who's to say we don't have history? Alright, maybe not as much as the other big teams, but we do have quite a bit of history on our side. And right now, we are making history for us to look back in 20 years' time and say, yes, 2010, 2020, we just dominated, show how much of a good club we can be. Because we're always getting taken the mick out of, always being ridiculed about our history. But like I said, we are just making our history now and we are just doing bits with it. Another thing as well, I've just noticed that we have signed a new right back, new 17-year-old right back, dubbed as the next Dani Alves. His name is I just saw it earlier. I was thinking to myself, I've got to make mention of this in this video, but I've forgotten his name now. To be honest, I don't really know much about the lad. He can't actually he has signed for the club, but he can't actually come overseas and join the club until he's 18. That is a rule in Brazil. Yeah, he could just be the next Dani Alves and just could be absolutely brilliant for us. Would I like to see more game time? Yeah. I mean, I don't actually know who he is, but to see more game time would be a big plus for any young player, not just for our youth system, but also coming in to the club from overseas. Overall, with this game, with our match against Aston Villa, we were dominant. We were not fully not fully dominant, but we played good. We deserved them 2 goals. This is the Phil Foden show. That's what I'm going to call it. This is the Foden show. He made a name for himself in this match, and he even went and got a man of the match card on FIFA, which I have used. Don't particularly rate it, I'll be honest. I think it's mainly because of his strength. Phil Foden, mate, get down the gym. You desperately need it. But that's where I'm going to leave it. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're not, and I'll see you lot in a bizzle.